Welcome everyone to another video. This time we're going to have a meta-analysis discussion on the best board breakers post-Corey. I ended up making this here just the other day. I wanted to make the video 2 days ago, honestly, but I ended up getting lazy. But now we're here today with guest commentary with Ton. Say what's up, Ton.
Hey everyone, what's up?
And you know, the reason we're making this video is because some of these board breakers are actually just not going to be as good as I would like them to be in the upcoming format. Of course, cards like Super Poly could obviously still be great, you know, specifically against like Branded, Cool Tune. Cards like, you know, the Illusion Gate would serve the same purpose. We have cards like Lightning Storm and whatnot for like Striker. But there have been a couple of decks actually that have come up that kind of make a lot of these board breakers useless, and a lot of them are technically FTKs, right? We have trains that are an FTK, right? You know, they are able to deal like 10k damage turn 1, effectively rendering you not being able to play the game. We have Power Patron, which essentially sets up an FTK, not allowing you to play the game with the Sloth, or what's the other one? Goliath plus Lechery on the field. Yeah. Yes. And, you know, you would think, oh, well, you know, an Imperm can solve that, right? But not really, because you have to deal with their Varudra's Omni, and even if you get that far, they still have Recapture and maybe some non-engine. We also, in the previous site set, BLGG, received the Teller Knight support, which allows you to just turn skip your opponent. And just recently in Chaos Origins, we got the Sacred Beast in board, which sets up Spell Canceller, double Colossus, and yeah, if you have an Imperm, right, sure, you can, of course, stop the Spell Canceller, but a lot of your cards in a lot of these decks add, right? And even if you play like Branded, you can like get away with this scot-free with the Branded Fusion. It's still going to be relatively tough, right? So that's what we're going to discuss today on what are going to be the best board breakers of the national season, right? It's going to happen next week. No, actually, this week once I post this video. So Ton, what are your opinions on the recent decks that became available with essential FTKs?
It's so annoying how many FTKs are around and the degenerate strategies that come up because of it. So I think when we talk about this tier list, we should talk about it in either the lens of that you're going to be playing into these potential FTKs, or we can talk about them as though they don't exist. And then you just have to pray you don't run into those matchups. Because I think if you talk about the breakers under those two scenarios, what's good is actually pretty different in my opinion.
Agreed. Unironically, a lot of this data is taken from DB, right? We haven't had that many events lately because North American Nationals has just been delayed until, you know, the second week of July, right? And but I believe that these end boards are so powerful that it renders the other decks kind of useless. You also said that there was like a Doom Z sort of FTK, right? With that they can set up Spellcaster plus a bunch of negates.
Yeah, in my experience, I think I think most FTK decks are kind of fake, right? If you look at the Trains deck, like I don't think Trains has ever been good. Sacred Beast is like, yes, they put up a good end board, but it's Sacred Beast. And then the Satello Knight is probably one of the most successful ones. I think Doom Z is the best actual deck that doesn't have to play a Floodgate, but also does. For what I understand, the deck only has to make 2 main deck changes, including a Spell Canceller, and then the entire combo doesn't really change too much. You just kind of add a Spell Canceller, and I think you just have 1 less negate. So normally, I think the end board is like Regulus, Verudras, and like the hand and effect negate. I forget, it's like a Drastia type one.
Okay.
So like you end on those, yeah, you end on those 3 negates plus the droll. So I think with the floodgate, you just end on 2 negates plus the spell negate plus spell cancer. Sorry.
Oh, that's true. So like you have that plus spell canceller and the Droll and Lockbird trap card, right?
Yeah. So in my opinion, I think that's the scariest FTK deck to play against because Doom Z by itself is already a good deck. So I think that's the most realistic one you'll run into.
Aside from that, I also believe that the Power Patron is going to be the
Yeah.
other likely one, right? And that one is a little more
Yes.
scary because, like, for some reason, Power Patron is just able to play into a lot of interruption already. They summon a bunch of level 10 monsters, which allows you to get access to Redress and Mercurium. And if you are not prepared for it, it's just gonna take you out before you know it, you know? Hopefully this video can help you guys not get hit with a out by round 3, out by lunch scenario, right? Because I would like to see anyone that at least I know do well. If I can't do well, because, I'm not going to be able to go, I at least hope that this will help people. Also, I'm going to make a quick modification on here. I didn't add it on at first because... quite frankly, I didn't really like it as a quote-unquote, what do you call it? As like a board breaker. But I'm going to add it here for the sake of the fact that people do at least recognize its potential. So I'm gonna cut to that here in just a moment once I add it. We are going to list these board breakers in these certain tiers. Use them now, great, mid, buns, and don't even consider it, right? And I think we have our first pick here, Book of Eclipse, or any, like flipping effect, right? That is essentially not a trap, which there's not really many. Book of Eclipse, I want to put in, like, don't even consider it at the moment, because it could be nice against certain matches, right? But I think in most, if not all of them, every single deck has a way to play around this card 100%. What do you think?
I think you're right. I would probably put it in mid or buns tier because I think it is really strong against a deck like Coltoon, even though it can't be interacted with. But I feel like if it resolves, it's definitely one of the most broken cards you can play generically. Although it does, like, there are just some matches where it does suck. Like, I agree, like, it's really bad against Branded and like other fusion decks. But if I were to, I think it's really good against Doom Z when they go effect to overlay. That's really strong against Coltoon. If there's still Yummy players around, which I think there'll probably be one or two because Yummy's not too dead. It's really good against that.
So the way I see this card, right? Like, I hear what you're saying, but there's already like one thing that prevents this from being good, and that is just the fact that, like, damn near every deck will at least side into an Ash Blossom, and the deck this should be relatively good against, which would be Coltoon, has a way to access Ash Blossom no matter what. Additionally, you mentioned Branded. I just think this card is fake against Branded as well.
I agree. It's bad against fusion decks, is what I was saying.
Yeah. Not only that, though, we were talking about, like, the relevance of the quote-unquote FTK decks, where they just prevent you from using spells, right? And for that reason alone, I feel like Book of Eclipse just doesn't even cut it, in my opinion, to where I would put it here, where you shouldn't even consider playing this card, at least on its own, right? So I think maybe you could put it in buns if you are just using it on its own, right? But maybe if you have Book of Eclipse plus, like, Kaiju-like board breaker, then maybe, honestly, I could consider it.
I think I agree with you on that point. I think I was overrating it a bit because, like, it wouldn't be the first breaker I sided. Like, I'm thinking Droplets and probably Crowns first, and then Eclipse would maybe find a spot. It kind of feels like the Veiler of board breakers. Like, it's not awful. It's just not what you would want.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we could put it in buns then, unless you think it deserves a higher spot.
No, I'm okay with buns, and we can adjust as we go.
Okay. Next is Exciton Knight. I just kind of put this as like a standalone. You know, if this gets summoned to you and you have like no way to like respond to it, it's gonna ruin your day, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be able to get into the Exciton first, and a lot of decks that I believe is like that would make this aren't even like playing in the format right now as like a good deck to even try, whether it be Ryzeal, whether it be Magna Warrior, whether it be some variant of any deck like Dororo that can access a rank 4. You have to again be able to play the game first, and I think there's a lot of interruption that prevents people from being able to resolve this Exciton. But I do believe that if you do manage to pull it off, it is really good to equalize the game state.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's like by itself is really good. Like I would almost put it in great, but I think the conditions of how to make it and when you would make it just make it really bad. Even if we assume if we're only talking about decks that would play Exciton, we're talking about something like Ryzeal or something. I think even then it's a pretty mid card because if you open with Exciton into their board, I feel like it's like a 1 out of 50 chance it would actually resolve. Because to me, if Exciton is my first action, it usually doesn't resolve.
Agreed. So yeah, I think Exciton could be put in mid. It might honestly deserves a bunch spot just because there's so little decks that can actually make use of it. And additionally, like if people really end up enjoying Rolad's playstyle, the new ritual deck, Exciton doesn't even make it in the top 10 cards that you would even want to use, right? Because you can't blow up the back row, you can't affect the ritual monster, so I'm almost inclined to put it in the bun section just because of that deck alone. And actually, because of that deck, I might even put this card down lower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like if Rolad actually ends up like dominating, which I don't think it would, but if it did, I would probably put it here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's a don't main ever, but if you wanted to side it, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah,
Exciton.
Like if you had no other options, right? Maybe you put the Eclipse. Like, oh man, I lost my fucking side deck, so I guess I got this as a stand-in.
Yeah, no, I'd probably agree. The Exciton just doesn't seem too good. Like, if your deck can play it, I would 100% play it, but it wouldn't be my opening action unless I just have nothing else to do, because it's too vulnerable. It loses to Imperm, and there's just some decks where it's just awful against.
Yeah. Just like Rolad, also if the Power Patron sets up its like full end board, the Exciton you can't even make it, right? So. Okay. Well, Fallen the Virtuous. This is the first one that I want to put up in the use them now category because this card is not only good going second. This card is also amazing going first, right?
Yeah.
And so I think if you have access to Fallen in the Virtuous, and I don't know how you wouldn't since it's been out since last October, right? Play this card now. This card is just too amazing to not even consider.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too easy, but Esther is broken.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's not much to be said about that as well. The all like top decks play it. I've seen Doomsday, I've seen Cooltoon, I've seen Branded, obviously, duh, it's the branded card. A Rolad is trying to use it now to great success. A new rogue deck, Blitzclick, is utilizing it. If you have the space, just put it in. It's a no-brainer. Okay, how do you feel about Kashtira Fenrir?
I have such weird feelings about Fenrir. Every time I use it, I feel like it's great. Like every time I put Fenrir in my deck, I'm like, damn, this card pushes and shit. But if I think about it in theory, I feel like Fenrir is just buns. So I would put it in mid, honestly.
I think so too. I think Fenrir having to like meet a condition to be able to banish face down is normally fine because like if I were to go against Yummy and stuff, right, like I can see this 100% resolving. However, Fenrir is in a unique spot where there's just so much targeted destruction and negation that this is probably not going to resolve. Like, it's good because it's going to warrant a response no matter what. But I don't find that this card is actually that great in practice.
I I would agree, generally. Like, I just feel like if I'm looking down like a full board, Fender just isn't cutting it. I almost want anything else in my hand.
Agreed. So yeah,
But
I think mid is a safe pick for it.
I think mid is fair because if you get in those weird situations where you're grinding, all of a sudden Fender is just the best card ever. So
Right. Okay. I guess we're going to talk about the other Fenrir, the old Fenrir, which is Pankratops. Now, this one I actually would like to put it in great. Not because it is better than Fenrir. I do believe that this card has had its time and, you know, it doesn't exist at this point. But uniquely, it actually allows people to activate its effect immediately in order to get its usefulness. And it also threatens the battle phase immediately to remove disruptions, right? To remove options that the opponent has.
yeah,
Like,
no, I agree with you. I think it's better than Fender.
I think at this current moment, right? Because, you know, we saw the match with, like, Israel versus Low, where Low had the Pankratops on the field. And had he just done one thing different, right? He might have been able to at least squeeze in a bit more time in his game, because in the matches where, like, you know, they have Zaylan already used, and then, like, they have a Rico ready to be used as a synchro material, you can go battle phase, attempt to swing at it, and if the opponent decides to go KTS or end of main clip effect to synchro, even if they make the RS, right, you can allow them to make it, and then Pankratops effect tribute, it's off the field, so they cannot respond to it with RS, and then they pop the interruption, you know?
Yeah.
Also, this is kind of nice against Branded as well, in theory, because you could hit the Fallen of Albaz, but let's be real, you might get hit with the with tons of different other plays before they resort to using Albaz on this. But what else? You can use it to hit the Spell Canceller right away. You can use it to hit the, what's it called, Amorphage Sloth or Goliath. So I think at the moment, this card can be nice. You might definitely need to use it in tandem with other cards such as Impermanence, Droplets, etc. But I would say if you have the space for it, you could use Pankratops to great success.
I agree. I think the more I think about that card, I think it's actually pretty solid. I don't know if it's like great solid, but I think it's in against Branded and Colton, which should be your most popular matchups, and even the Rollout deck. Like, it checks such key points. Like, if you're playing against Branded, it checks the Ecclesia Synchro. It bless you. It checks the new fusion that's coming up that you summon with Cartesia, the one that makes Mirror Jade. You get, because it has to use a material. So like, you're checking the Mirror Jade fusion material. Of course, you check Albaz, like you mentioned, and it's cool too. And I think it's really good to be able to like run over a body and then pop RS and roll out. It beats Mind Shuffle. So like I'm really high on Pankratops right now, but I just feel like it's really weak into rogue decks. Like I can't really think of the value of Pankratops against like a power patron deck or end board, you know?
Yeah, but you know, it is still probably an option that I would go over the Fenrir. So maybe we could just put it in mid, but above Fenrir in terms of reliability.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think if I play it, I'd probably play 2 Pank and like 0 Fenrir, because Pank just being a spell speed 2 is just super valuable.
100%. Alright, so the next card on our list is going to be Harmonia. I would love to put it in great, but whenever I see this against, again, one of those FTK decks going second, I feel like the value is immeasurable.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think that card's S tier. If you can play it, you should play it.
100%. Because I think about, like, you know, when Sacred Beast goes for their, like, FTK, they'll go Firewall effect to add back a monster, right? For the graveyard. Or whatever they, like, require. And then in that moment, because they have the Power Code Talker under it, you could go Harmonia reveal like 5 other synchros with itself, pop the power code that got summoned back, which will then allow you to have it be banished, and then you could go like Malong or Packbit to remove the firewall from like the monster zone, and then all of a sudden they cannot go Link 5 to dump the spell canceller. And also, because they lost the rank 3 material, they also cannot go into the Charmer Link 4 as well afterwards.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially against the Sacred Beast, they need all their bodies. Even one ogre puts in a lot of work that we saw on the commentary video. So I think Harmonia is just super S tier. I can't imagine a card that just gets more value.
Right. Like, should you modify your deck to fit in the Harmonia? No, because not a lot of decks can. But if you're playing Elf Note, if you're playing Cool Tune, if you're playing a deck that just has free extra deck, you need to put Harmonia in there as soon as possible.
Yeah, the versatility of the card to always remove one, and then you have the option to remove a second body right away via Malong, or to wait via the Win adding Mister. I think the value of being able to choose when you want to interrupt your opponent is actually kind of
All right, well, I'm glad we agree. So next we have Gamma Seal, and I would put this in like mid. Probably above Fenrir, maybe below Pankratops, or maybe you can even argue above, because if you have it in hand and you have like a lot of engine and all you need to do is get rid of one pesky monster, I mean, it is right there. In theory, right, Gamma Seal deals with Goliath or Sloth, which means the lechery is also off. It deals with Spell Canceller or maybe Colossus, right, whatever gives you more problems. It deals with nothing against Teller Knight. If they get off the turn skip, you're like cucked. Aside from that, yeah, I just don't see any other application, right? Like, this card is just genuinely okay. And imagine using this against Cool Tune on their Zaylin. Like, it doesn't matter. If they get access to back-to-back, they get the Zaylin back anyways. Or, at that point, you can kind of say that Zaylin did its job already, which forces out a card, right? You know what? The more I think about this card, the more I want to put it, like, kind of buns, honestly.
I was gonna say I would put it in buns, because I just can't think of a scenario where it's like better than Pankratops, because Pankratops outs too. And like you would only want Gamma Seal, and like Gamma Seal's the opposite of Pankratops, and that Pankratops and Fenrir are really good against the more basic decks like Brandon and Cool Tune. But Gamma Seal's really good against like Power Pigeon, against like Sloth, Varudras, the spell cancelers, like the really gimmicky FTK boards. Like Gamma Seal's so good against that, but you're not gonna run into it a lot. So I personally wouldn't even play it.
Yeah, maybe if we were in a tower format, right? Like, if Lunalight was the best deck, maybe. But Lunalight hasn't really ever reached that pinnacle, even after its support. And I would say that after its future support here in the next few months, it still wouldn't really reach that. So,
it's hard to make an argument for Gamma Seal when you have other Kaiju-like cards that are just better. At this point, do you also want to talk about Lava Golem and Sphere Mode, since they kind of go hand in hand?
Yeah, I'd love to, actually. So, I would probably, at this point, put Lava Golem in mid and Sphere Mode in great for the decks that can actually play it. Because we have to remember, you cannot normal summon after this, right? So, obviously, you can't use this in Cool Tune. You can't use this in... I mean, what other deck really needs a normal summon?
Quick rolling question. Do the Lava Golem and Sphere Mode take up your additional normal summons too?
So specifically, Lava Golem says that you cannot normal summon the turn that you special summon this to your opponent's field. So it doesn't matter how many normal summons you have. Lava Golem, you just cannot normal summon at all. And if you have normal summoned, you cannot even try to special summon that card. But the Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode just says that in order to be able to summon this, you had to tribute 3 monsters from either side of the field and then place it there, right? Which means that if you have Winged Dragon of Raw and you have a way to get an additional normal summon, like whether it is with Rotary or with the field spell, JJ Cool Tune, you could still normal summon after. This only takes up a normal summon.
Okay, that's good to know. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let me think on the kind of decks that really require the normal summon. I I don't know. I'm trying to think of good decks that would actually require the normal summon.
Obviously, branded doesn't, right? You know, that's one thing. One of the decks that
Yeah.
do require it the most is Doom Z, but Doom Z probably falls in popularity with like the new decks that come out, right?
Yeah, I was thinking Doomsday too, because some of their starters are normal summons, but I want to say they have a handful of ways to start without normal summoning and still make a pretty good mid board.
I
Because you have
agree.
Raiders, that's a starter. You have the
Change
new power patron, the common change. You have Nervado, I think it is, that pops itself to like scale one or something.
pops itself
They
to
have at
scale
least like
one.
9 starters.
Pops itself to scale one.
Not maybe not scale one, but it pops itself to like give your power patrons 5k attack,
Oh, you're talking about
and then when it goes,
Vidolium.
Vidol, is that the one? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, that's the one.
Vidolium is a
It's
starter without a normal summon. Drew Prado, which is the Doomsday Power Patron. Yeah. If you, especially if you go second, you scale it, and then you're able to pop a what's it called, card on the field, and a Doomsday in your hand, and then like if it's a Lara or a Malth, like you're able to either set or special. Like honestly, so my purpose of putting like Lava Golem in mid and like Sphere Mode in great is for the decks that don't need to use their normal summon. If you go against like let's say a Power Patron mirror match and your opponent sets up you know, the Goliath plus Varudras and they have a fusion monster in the field, typically it would be the non-finito so that their recapture counter trap works. You tribute those 3 bodies, and all of a sudden now you're able to play, right? Same thing with the Sacred Beast. I don't think Sacred Beast uses its normal summon. Branded doesn't have to use its normal summon. They have plenty of ways to play without having to do so. Cool Tune gets you access to additional normal summons, right? So I could see Sphere Mode actually hitting the scene and causing a lot of damage if, and only if, there are a huge amount of players that are relying on winning through their quote-unquote FTK decks.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I probably agree with most of those points. I want to say Sphere Mode is really good for the more rogue decks because I'm trying to think of the end board for Branded and Cool Tune. And Cool Tune should play around it really easily. And Branded doesn't like put up all their interactions like up front like that. So I want to say Sphere Mode isn't as impactful against those 2 decks.
True.
But it is really strong as Power Patron. Any Archmage, any like any of I don't know what the lore slot decks right now, like Power Patron, Elf Note, Archmage, like those kind of decks. I think Sphere Mode puts in a lot of work against those guys.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, if you go against those decks, the only exception to this card, these 2 I should say as well, Lava Golem and Sphere Mode, is Teller Knight. But aside from that, I think these cards do well against those other matchups where, you know, if you don't have a way to actually out those bodies, then you just can't play the game, right? So I think they'll deserve the mid spot because they're not great in every deck and they're not great against every matchup. As you mentioned, Cool Tune's gonna have 2 bodies, right? So Cool Tune doesn't have to like play into the Sphere Mode whatsoever. They either have 3 bodies to tribute or they don't. And in Lava Golem's case, Rotary, you got to look at the hand. Oh, my opponent has Lava Golem, and just gonna end with 1 monster on the field, and that is it.
If would you say there's an argument in that Lava Golem did his job preemptively? Like if a Cool Tune player looks at your hand with Lava Golem and they just put up 1 monster, like that's a much easier board to beat through now, right? So would you almost say Lava Golem kind of does his job, and you still have the benefit of your normal summon?
Yeah, I would say so. It's just that as you play, right, if you do choose to use your normal summon and the opponent then decides like, oh, well, now I can go like clip, you know, with a Rico, go ahead and now make RS or what have you, then like you end up losing that trade sometimes because then like you allow your Cool Tune opponent to like play and then you're in trouble. But at the same time, it could deter them from making like their best end board, right? So I would say it can still be good in that application.
Yeah, I agree with you. I almost want to squeeze fear mode in great because I really think about all the rogue decks that are still really good. Because you're not playing against Brandon Cooks in every matchup, and the more I think, I'm like, if your deck can play it, fear mode just seems really good against those kind of decks, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Obviously, this is not just to like single into the FTK class of the meta, but like in theory, sphere mode. If we see a lot of them, it could be a really great one. Otherwise, I would say it's mid. Because if we are
yeah,
looking at it in a vacuum, and let's just say people are only playing branded and they're only playing Cool Tune, then obviously I think sphere mode is not even a consideration.
yeah. No, I agree.
Okay, cool. So the next card we have is Herald of the Abyss. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a don't even consider it.
Yeah, unless you're really afraid of Lunalight, yeah, put that thing in, put it below that. God, yeah, that card's that.
Yeah, if there's like a tier below this, which I mean I can always add a tier, but like, yeah, we're just gonna put it below even Book of Eclipse.
Yeah.
This is really good when you're going against Pearly in 2023. That's about it, or against Kashtira or Riceheart, right? Actually, this isn't even good against our Riceheart because they have to. Well, actually, does this work against a Riceheart? I forgot. It says send it to the graveyard, not sending it for costs. But regardless, yeah, if you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh in 2023, this is like one of the best cards that you could have in your side deck. Aside from that, that's about it.
Yeah, the card is pretty awful. It's awful. I feel like we should just move on.
Okay. Infinite Impermanence, I still say is pretty great. Because a lot of the decks that set up the floodgates don't allow you to activate spells. But if you're able to negate that monster, well, guess what? Without using a spell, then Infinite Impermanence ends up becoming one of the greatest hand traps that you can use. The issue is that in my opinion, not a lot of decks can really fit in and squeeze Imperm right now.
Yeah, those are the points. I agree with a lot of it. I think one of the best things about Imperm is its versatility, and I this really comes from Triff's deck that for the Cool Tune deck that I made top 8 with, and that he's playing 15 hand traps are good as breakers, but could also be hand traps for going first. And I think Imperm just works really well as like one of those cards, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you are able to play it, it is 100% great to utilize because this card works going first and second. Well, okay, let me reiterate that. It works great if you're going second, and then on your turn, you're able to utilize it if you draw another copy in order to stun something for the turn so that you can continue playing, right? So, I do want to put this in great. Obviously, I would put this above sphere mode in most applications, and yeah, that's about it.
I agree. I think generically it is just great. I think if you're playing a pure board breaker deck and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to run those FTK decks, I wouldn't play it. But if you are worried about it, I think that's when you would play it.
Correct. Now Nibiru. Nibiru has not seen the light of day ever since Yummy was not considered the best deck, right? Even when Yummy was considered like one of the best decks to play in the format, Nibiru was kind of like, they could play around it. Is it even worth it? But I will say that none of the decks aside from Power Patron play around Nibiru very well when they try to set up their FTK. I don't think Teller Knight plays around Nibiru. I mean, once you get like 6-7 materials on the board, one Nibiru ruins your entire day. Sacred Beast as well. They have no negate set up for the Nibiru.
You're right. You're right. As soon as they put up 3 Martyr, you just nib them and it's over.
100%.
Yeah, I think Nib's like a really good side card right now. I think if you side it, it covers your rogue matches really well, and I think it would do a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Even against Archmage, right? Like, if you have the ability to stop non-finito or force the recapture counter trap to negate something beforehand, then you can immediately use the Nibiru and ruin their day. Like, this card is just absolutely disgusting in the right circumstances. But not every deck can play this. However, I think if you want to play Nibiru and you're banking on beating those FTK decks, it can be really good. And if your deck is able to play a combination of the hand traps plus Nib, you can even catch Cool Tune off guard. I got caught off guard with Nibiru in a local tournament not that long ago. I just wasn't expecting it. They dropped it on me, and I was like, oh wow, I just didn't think that I'd play against a Nib anytime soon. So
Yeah, I agree. I think Nib is just really good paired. Like I know Nib is really bad in a branded, which is probably his worst matchup, in my opinion. Like Nib kind of applies like the lava golem, and that it forces him to do a low tier board, which is always kind of good in its own way because if they go first, they see a Nib and they go under 4, they're gonna have to keep going under 4 until they establish a alien. So, I think Nib is weirdly still okay in the cool tune if you wanted to main it. I would personally just side it and just take the gamble. In my opinion, that's probably what I do.
yeah, same here. I would put it in great only until I think about it a bit more and more, because this doesn't do really anything against Rolad, but that can't be the only deck, right? Like obviously it also is not good against Blitzclick, but Blitzclick isn't even a good deck, so yeah. We'll leave it at that.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, Super Poly. You know what? I only want to put this in great. Not because I don't think it's as good as these two cards, but again, if you play against Branded, sick. If you play against Doom Z, awesome. If you play against Cool Tune, obviously, right? It's just every other deck in the format. Like, you can't do shit to Striker with this card. You can't do anything against Sacred Beast, Power Patron. You can't do anything against Teller Knight because it's not even usable at that point. Like, maybe if you use it going first and you use this as an additional interruption against your opponent, different story. But going second, I mean, it's a board breaker tier list for a reason. You're typically going to go second, right? So
yeah, I agree.
In my
I
opinion,
think one more thing I do want to.
What's up?
Go ahead. I think one more thing I did want to point out was that another kind of FTK style deck is like the fairy tales. So a lot of their combo that ends on Secret Village. So there's a good chance you're gonna get locked out of your spells. So I kind of did want to bring that up so we can take that to account too. So Super Poly, if you draw Super Poly against like fairy tale, you kind of might be shit out of luck if they like have a Secret Village up.
That is true. I almost want to say that this is kind of better going second than it is going going first than it is going second. And so I kind of want to put it in the mid tier because of that reason.
I agree with that. I feel like it might be a crazy take for us to not think Super Poly is so broken, but every time I've been hit with Super Poly, either on my board or like as I'm playing, I feel like I'm usually able to play through it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, like, obviously it's still great. Like, if you get hit in a very inopportune moment, you might just lose. But I think it's a lot easier to deal with than most people realize.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be hit with a Super Poly than droplets. And I don't know if that's Cope for saying that, but I think I'd rather be hit with Super Poly than droplets, I feel like.
I think so too. Okay, so next up, talents. Where are we putting this?
I think it's as a board breaker.
Yeah, as
I feel like it might be mid. I think it might be mid.
Yeah, I think this card again can be good against Branded. You know, you get you a little nice draw too. Maybe you steal a body against Cool Tune. Same ordeal. Maybe rip a hand trap that you know that you can't play around in their hand. Doom Z, same application. It's just the other decks that I'm worried about. Like, if I can't use a spell, then this card is not even good there as a bait. It's just in my hand sitting like an idiot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've run into a lot of scenarios where my talent's just never live, and it's just so annoying. Like, you run into decks like Striker, and they just should. Their first action should never be to activate 0.
Oh yeah, honestly. It's probably mid. I think against the right matchups, it can be really, really nice. But I kind of just prefer this going first.
Yeah, I agree. I think some example matchups of where it's bad against is Doom Z, Striker, Draco Tail, right? And because like Striker and Draco Tail use their traps and spells as interruptions, and Doom Z like seems weirder. But once they flip up the trap, like you aren't able to add anyway, so you can't even draw for talents, which means your only option is to take. And against an Omni-Negate board like that, it just doesn't do enough. So I think talents is talent. Those decks are examples of where I think talents is really bad.
Yeah, I would much rather use this against a Cool Tune player when I'm going first, because I know they're gonna hand trap me, and if I can keep playing, or they have a body on the field, I can take it. Like, there's so many better applications against that deck. And going second against Branded, if I'm able to draw 2 against them after they go like Quem, Cartesia, Ecclesia, what have you, I'm gonna feel a bit better about myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think if I was a heavy engine deck, like Memento or Branded, I would still play talents even to the bad matchups. But if I'm a Cool Tune player, I don't want to see talents against like the matchups where it's not perfect.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cosmic Cyclone. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put this right next to Herald of the Abyss. It is something that you probably should not even consider.
What would you even use it to hit this format?
I guess fucking
Mind Shuffle?
Mind Shuffle. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's not that bad. But is
Okay.
Rolad really the deck that we have to prepare for?
Man, if you're really afraid of Rolad, I don't know, man. Just play Ogre.
Honestly,
Play Mind. Let's play Master Restrict if you're really not afraid of Rolad.
honestly, yeah. So I think we can put Cosmic Cyclone as a you don't even want it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next is Evenly Matched, and I'm not gonna lie, I think this card is also mid. Like, it can be really good, but man, if I only play Cool Tune, right? I'm gonna go Zaylan Negate. I'm gonna go prevent you from me having value. And even if you do utilize this card, well, maybe I just make a back-to-back, and then I let you banish everything else on my field that's irrelevant, and then I just like win the game anyways.
I agree. I think it's really bad against Brandon and Colton. I think it has its place against rogue decks, though.
Yeah. Against the FTK strategies, aside from Teller Knight, I do think it's actually not that bad. Striker, obviously. Doom Z, even. But it's, like, very hit or miss.
I think I'm just a hater. I would personally put in great, because I would hate to lose the rogue shit like a NAWCQ. Like, I feel like that deck's just everywhere for rogue Dynamorphia retired players that just play a NAWCQ, and, like, I just want evenly against that.
Okay. Yeah, we can consider it there.
Yeah, I think if I think of other matches where I think it's really good, Striker, NAWCQ, I'm trying to think of a few other matches where their interruptions are via back row. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else right now. But against non-Omni-Naked boards, I think evenly does put in a lot of work, in my opinion.
Okay. Then, yeah, we can
But
set
I
it.
wouldn't say it's great. It's probably in mid more realistically.
Yeah, honestly, I put this at mid. Okay. Forbidden Crown. I think this card had its time to shine last format. This format, I think it's also just mid.
What do you think is more mid against? Because I was originally under the assumption it's still pretty great.
I don't think it does too crazy against Branded. I don't think it does too crazy against Cool Tune, unless you set it when you go first, because then you can prevent them from utilizing the card as a material. And even if they chain KTS, you can still negate the monster because this doesn't target. This applies on resolution.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, I don't see myself being able to use Forbidden Crown against every single matchup and consider it in my side or even main as a main keep for like the NAWCQ.
Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. I was actually a pretty big fan of Crown. I don't think it's the strongest breaker, and I agree with you on that. I just think the versatility of the card is actually pretty amazing, and that's kind of the number one reason why I rank it kind of high.
Correct. I do think that the versatility of the card is amazing, but I'm thinking about applications when you are trying to break a board.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same vein,
and,
I'm probably putting Droplet right next to it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I understand. I agree. I'd probably put Droplet above because I think Droplet pairs better with other cards, like Evenly plus Droplet or like X Spell plus Droplet is pretty impactful. like dodge certain effects.
Right.
So I would probably play Droplet before I play Crown.
Agreed. Like I do think these two cards are actually not that bad against the definitely top dominating decks, and I'm just gonna classify the top decks as branded Cool Tune. But when it comes to like everything else, it's like I wouldn't use it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would sooner play Droplet over Crown just because Droplet can hit multiple mons at once. So.
Agreed.
Do you think Droplet is worse than Pankratops?
No, I would put Droplet probably above Pankratops and probably even above Super Poly.
Yeah, I think it would go top of mid, bottom of great, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Gordian Slicer, man. Yeah, don't even consider this card.
Is that card that ass? I thought it was going up in price because it was getting some hype.
Maybe if you're playing Craft, you can banish all cards from your extra deck, and then you'll be like in there.
Okay. Yeah, never mind. The card's ass.
So look, this card reads, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. So it sounds good in practice, right? But at the start of the main phase 1 or 2, target any number of face-up cards on the field. And for each targeted card, banish either 1 card from your hand or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. Then return those targets to the hand. So ideally, if I'm playing a deck that doesn't care about its extra deck, I can target 2 cards in the field that are giving me issues and then return them, and then boom. Like, if I'm an NAWCQ player, I am in there. But, like, if you need to get rid of multiple problems, you have to get rid of cards from your hand now. Like, I don't see the viability in this.
Yeah, you're kind of right. That card is awful.
Maybe if we were in the Snake Eye format, right? Like, I only need Snake Eye Ash to win. Oh, I'm fucking playing Gordian Slicer every day. Aside from that, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Next up, Harpy's Feather Duster. Ooh boy, I love this against Sky Striker. I think you have to play it because like Striker is still pretty good, and if you get to wipe them out in 1 card, I think it's like man, I might have an orgasm thinking about it.
No, I agree. I love having a Duster / Storm against like Striker. It's just you just feel like you win the game.
Yeah, 1000%.
I mean, you do win the game. I've never lost.
Right, and Lightning Storm is going to be in the same like call. I get it. Why would you put these cards here but not these two? It's just that whenever you're able to resolve this card to get rid of those problematic back rows, it's just you're gonna enjoy using this card. And then Illusion Gate. If you're able to deal with the problem of the opponent's board and then resolve an Illusion Gate, it could be nasty. If you use this against a mirror match, it's gonna be nasty. So I think Illusion Gate definitely hits up there, depending on the matchups.
Yeah, I agree. I would personally move this top of great because, like, I know if you're playing against the non-FTK decks, I think this card is in use them now. But if you're running to more of those like FTK, Omni-Negate huge boards, yeah, it does go down a little more. But I think the fact that this card's a Raigeki plus a call by like beat certain effects is it's kind of insane.
Yeah. Plus,
every time I resolve the card, it's just so good. I feel like I just win instantly.
Right. Like if you're able to resolve this, I feel like you should be winning 90% of your matches.
Yeah, I think so too.
And destruction effects, I do think that Raigeki alone is probably just mid. It's definitely harder to deal against like bodies on the field because if you just activate a Raigeki, sure, you don't have to pay half your life points, but also you don't get the benefit that Illusion Gate gets you, which is summoning back a body, right? And this card alone doesn't do enough in my opinion, whereas Illusion Gates provides you with more at half your life.
Yeah, I think you're being really gracious to Raigeki. Yeah, I probably would have put it in button. Because I think I would play 3 Illusion Gate before I played a single Raigeki.
Yeah, 100%. Like, okay, honestly, maybe I put it here. Only use this card if you have no money or if you have no other option.
Yeah, I think if you can't afford Illusion Gate, you just play Geki.
Yeah, 100%.
Even then, it's not even that good because branded is just ass. They go open to protect. Rollout doesn't bother them. Mitsurugi doesn't care about it
Yeah.
because you just bring back. I really can't imagine Raigeki being all that good.
Like, granted, we could say the same thing about Illusion Gate with all those matchups, but in the matchups that they're good in, Illusion Gate just, like, again, if I'm playing a Cool Tune mirror match and I resolve this, I'm winning the game right then and there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
I think Illusion Gate's even better in branded, like versus Raigeki, because like you can take the Mirror Jade and like make them avoid the Mirror Jade effect, and that's what I was kind of talking about the call by S stuff. So like, if there's stuff that would activate in the grid that you don't want to deal with, you could just take that monster instead. And I feel like the value from that is pretty strong.
True that. Or like if you go against Cool Tune, you take their Zaylin, and then like you have a Chainlink 2, or I'm sorry, Chainlink 3 negate 1 or 2, like. Oh my god, yeah. The more I think about like Illusion Gate resolving, the like better I feel mentally. Okay.
Yeah, it's even better if you're playing Fall in the Virtuous. Triff made this one really popular, but like you can Illusion Gate against Branded to summon the Aluber, search your Fall in the Virtuous, and then you check their Outbaz.
Oh, that
So,
is nasty.
That alone just wins you the Branded matchup. So I think Illusion Gate is really good in against Branded.
Okay.
Most times.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't thinking about that. That is a nice interaction. But I also don't see this card often, so, you know, what can I do?
Yeah, that's true.
Ogre! I gotta put this up there.
Really? Well, what do you think it's good against? It's not that I don't believe you, I just don't know.
Okay, so, plenty of applications. I love it against JJ Cool Tune. I love it against, what's it called? An RS. I love it against a back-to-back. I love it against a Fallen of Albaz. I love it against an Ecclesia. I love it against a Doomsday Drastrea. I love it against, like, Power Patron Vidolia, the field spell. I love it against, what's it called? Mercurier, right? Or not Mercurier, but Mercurium, the XCs. They try to attach sloth. No siree. Lose that body. Against, the, you know, Sacred Beast FTK, gone. You know, you hit like the Xenia, and now like they have to use not Xenia. You probably hit like the firewall, so they can't even get into the Xenia. So that way, if they do want to get into the Xenia, they got to use a lot more resources. What else? Against a Teller Knight spell that ranks up the monster, boom, goodbye. Like, what are you doing now? You can't turn skip me.
Yeah, you might be right. I actually like that.
So, I think Ogre... Mind Shuffle. Again, there's so many reasons why Ogre should be played. And that... I just listed you like 10,000 different reasons.
Yeah, I agree with you. I see what you're saying. Ogre is pretty damn strong. And I'm glad. I love Ogre. Ogre has always been like my favorite hand trap.
If a Ogre is good in the format, then the format probably is good. The only exception was the heavy Electromite format from 2018, where you made triple Electromite and either you FTK'd your opponent with the Supreme King or, you know, set up the infinite Omni-Negate board. But aside from that, Ogre being good in the format should determine that a format is good to play in.
Well, I don't know, man. Ogre was pretty decent in that one Snake Eyes format when the Deception came out. That was still pretty fucking toxic.
It was, but we ignore every other bad format with Ogre. Okay.
Yeah, we ignore Snake Eyes format. That wasn't a thing.
True. Now Thrust. Honestly, this is probably just mid.
I agree. I don't know. Like, sometimes I think Thrust is really broken because, like, yeah, you can search all this great stuff like Illusion Gate, but I don't like that Thrust has to. Thrust just doesn't get as much value as I think it would. Right, you have to bait out an interaction first for your Thrust to be live, which means you have less resources to play through stuff, and now your opponent can more zone in on what to negate with the breaker you draw or the breaker you get. So Thrust I would rather just draw into what I want than like Thrust for it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think Thrust can be good against like the top decks, right? Branded, Cool Tune, but it kind of just falls apart against almost every other matchup.
I think so too, because they just like, I hate when people play the 3 Thrust and like 1 Dark Ruler thing, because like they're just gonna negate your Thrust. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, like I'm having to play Thrust right now because I don't have 2 other copies of Illusion Gate. Not because I can't afford them, but I just can't find any. and I refuse to use TCG Player. So for right now, I have to use a Thrust. But if I can replace Thrust with anything else, I would.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think Thrust is better on first and second of anything.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it in the mid. But again, only mid in a board breaking application. So whoever is getting their panties twisted, relax. Okay. Sheena, oh man, this is gonna be a hot take. I think this card is great if you can play it.
I probably agree. Sheena, every time Sheena gets dropped, I'm like, ah, fuck, I forgot about that card.
Yeah,
like, it's pretty good.
Like imagine returning all monsters on the field, right, to the extra deck or what have you. Like now you get to play the game. However, you have to get there first. And Radiant Typhoon ain't doing shit, so I'm gonna put it in mid.
No, I agree with that. I don't really care too much. I think it's great if you can play it, and if you can't play it, it's just gonna be buns.
I think this card will have its time to shine again. Like it had a short time, right? When like everyone thought, hey, you know what, you should be playing Radiant Typhoon, and then we all realized, yeah, no, this deck is buns.
Yeah.
But like, if we get a different win deck in the future that can abuse Sheena better, then I think Sheena ends up being like right here as one of the best hand traps of all time.
Yeah.
And one of the best board breakers as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's not too much to say. There's just not a good win deck right now.
Yeah. Ultimate Slayer. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, right. There's a reason why no one's playing it before, and why no one's gonna play it now.
Right. Like if we were in Ryzeal format again, right, and I'm playing Malice, yeah, I'll play Ultimate Slayer. Aside from that, what can you really expect, man?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Alpha. Whew. If your deck could play it, I would still put it in mid. Nah, I would put it in buns.
Man, I could play a Yummy that deck, and that card's still ass. Like, I just don't think I'd even consider it.
Yeah. It's probably gonna get negated more often than not too. So I wouldn't I would not play this card.
Yeah, and there's good things about the card. It doesn't target for the bounce, which means you always out one for like non-targeting. But it just doesn't do enough. Yeah. And targeting is kind of better nowadays. Weirdly, with Rollad.
Oh well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's about it. Dark Ruler, I think, is buns. I probably actually wouldn't even consider it.
Let me think. I thought there were some matchups where I want to say Dark Ruler is pretty decent to the FTK like kind of boards. Like not the spell canceler versions, but like if you're playing against Doom Z, Dark Ruler is pretty strong against them. Trying to think about the matches where it comes up.
Well, when I think about like branded, they can eventually fuse their way out of it, or like if they have a Grand Guignol setup, like you first off you can't kill them, right? So that's like a problem. Number two, they're gonna end the turn with follow up if you end up breaking the board, because at this point everything's in the graveyard, and then like because you can't kill them, they're gonna be able to play in your end phase and on their turn coming up. Dark Ruler is also not that nice against Cool Tune. Like they're gonna use Remix before anything, and then if you negate their one Zaylin on the field, okay, sure, bud. Now let me make back-to-back. Go ahead, use a monster effect. I'm gonna bring back Zaylin, and now I have my negate life again, right? On top of that, I have hand traps and everything else I need to succeed. So I mean,
yeah, I know what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I think I would only side it if I'm really worried about DMZ. Other than that, I probably wouldn't play it myself.
Yeah. We'll see how the format changes and how it sets up for the NAWCQ, but for now, I wouldn't even touch it in my side. Okay. Karakura, or Kurikara, Divine Incarnate. I'm gonna put it in buns, honestly.
That card's gotta be a bottom, don't consider it, right? Like, I just can't think what time it would be good.
Yeah, I mean, neither. Like, your opponent has to play, right? And then you get to tribute their bodies, and then you get to summon it, and then, you know, it gains a bunch of attack. But like,
yeah,
this doesn't deal with Colossus. This doesn't deal with Ferudras. This does, well, it can, right? But I'm sorry, this doesn't deal with Goliath. This doesn't deal with the Teller Knights. This doesn't deal with Okay, like in theory, it deals with like the Cool Tune board, but like again, you're trying to play and they're already playing and stopping you from like being able to have fun. And then you drop this, and it's like, oh, one final hoorah. And then they go like summon, mix, synchro with it, and then pop the monster, and then good night. Like,
Yeah, you basically went -3 to do it because like against Cold Tune, they have to Zayla negate something and then they RS negate something. So then only then is your Curry card alive for maximum value. But you're down like 3 cards already because you had to use 2 to bait out the interruptions and Curry card.
Yeah.
Like, how many pushes more do you have?
Right.
To then play through their hand traps on top of that. I think the card's always been ass, and like every format where it's hyped up to be good, I just think it's so shit. I just can't imagine a good scenario for it.
Yeah, like, okay, I get to deal 4,500, I get to reborn something from the graveyard at the end phase, but like, what else are you gonna do? Like, it's just not feasible. It's not that good. It's not that great against Branded. It's not that good against Doomsy. Like, it can be, but again, they're already doing stuff to prevent you from playing before you even get to try.
Yeah, and it doesn't do the job of what you wanted to do, which is to deal with the board. Like, you had to play into the board already to make it live, so you're automatically, your current card is not doing its job. So, yeah, I think this card's buns. It's even worse than Herald, in my opinion. Like, I think I play Herald over it.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I mean, I probably agree. And then, Pot of Sloth. I want to put it in mid. Because this is not really a board breaker if we're talking about what it does to remove stuff from the field. But it can help you try to get there. It's kind of like Thrust, in which if your opponent activated a spell trap, a monster effect prematurely, you activate it and you grab a board breaker. This kind of works in the same aspect of, I'm going to try to draw some cards to draw into my board breakers and then play the game. But I put it in mid, not because it can't be good, but because half the time that you have it in your side is not even going to be put in.
I agree. I think you run to the risk of deck building issues. Like, if you have all these great breakers you want to play, how do you have room for Sloth? And I think Sloth opens you up to Droll, to more interruptions. It can be Ash, which I don't think really matters. I think I'm ashing Sloth, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think if I'm going first and they play Sloth, I think I'm ashing it.
Yeah. You also have to do it at the... Well, you don't have to do it at the start of your main phase, right? I forgot that is not even a thing for that card. It's not extravagance. But yeah, the thing is that I think if we want to see this card go up in value in terms of not only monetary value, but also value of effectiveness, Konami has to hit everything that lets you not... I'm sorry, that this allows you to play spells, right? And that is where that card is just kind of having its moment of like disparity of, should I play it, should I not? And I think most of the time the answer is going to be no.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are too many scenarios where Sloth is just bad. You have those natural FTKs where you can't play spells. And then you have scenarios where they have a Droll, and then you just Drolled yourself, and you didn't get as much value from like your Sloth. Maybe if you drew like 6, it's okay, but... I think you just open yourself up to a lot of weakness when you could probably play a card that you could just draw onto right away instead. Yeah, I'd rather draw Illusion Gate than draw Sloth. And like draw onto Illusion Gate with Sloth, you know? But,
yeah. I agree. Like, I think if the format's best deck was Striker and I'm going second, oh yeah, I'm drawing into my Harpies, I'm drawing into my Lightning Storm. But aside from that, I don't even see like the value in it. I think, again, also against Cool Tune, it's gonna get ashed. Against Branded, sure, draw how many ever cards you need. My follow-up is gonna like win out in the end, in the grind, right? So I just... And then again, the FTK decks, I'm not even gonna be able to play this. So for right now, I might even put it in buns. I wouldn't even consider playing it right now. Actually, yeah,
really?
No, hell no.
I think that's a pretty hot take. I feel like I'm trying to think of a scenario where I play Sloth and I don't get Drolled. And then I think of a world where I drew a custom hand. And I feel like if you know that scenario we used to think of as kids where you're like, hey man, break my board, any imaginary cards you want, right? And a slot kind of gets you there. You know, you're probably drawing like 6, 7 cards, and you get to pick the 6 or 7 you want to keep. You know, so it's like
Look, nothing's
it can't
beating
be that bad.
nothing's beating a mono a water Raigeki, okay?
Like I agree, but you could draw into it with sloth. You know, like I don't think sloth is don't consider it. It just wouldn't be the first breaker I put in. If I had nothing else to put, I'd probably put it in.
So
How bad can a card be that says customize your hand?
Well, I've seen what no hand does to a person, right? And I think having a hand that's customizable makes you be a far worse individual than not having the option to even play the game in the first place. You tend to I'm sorry. I'm slurring my words here. The more decisions that you have to make, the worse the decision making becomes. I forgot what theory that was called, but I believe wholeheartedly in that theory.
Yeah, I understand. I don't disagree with the theory. I think having more options would always. I guess the way I would say it is like sloth will never make your deck worse. It can only make it better, but by how much is up for discussion, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's like a floor of how bad it could be, and which I think is mid. But I don't know if it could go any higher. You know, like it really just depends on like what's in the meta.
Yeah.
I don't even care too much. Top of buns, bottom of mid. It's probably where I just put it.
Yeah, because again, my only gripe is that Konami just hasn't hit Spell Canceller, it hasn't hit Lechery, it hasn't hit any of those type of cards that would not allow me to play Sloth, right? And once they do hit those cards, like I don't even know why Konami brought back Colossus. Like that was going to just be a ticking time bomb of, oh yeah, we need to hit this like card again, right? And technically, Colossus isn't even that bad. I guess you could use Sloth under it because you can draw. And then like you just get rid of all the cards in your hand that say like add, etc. It just I think at the moment, if I can't even begin playing this card, I wouldn't even want it in my hand. I would want a different option.
I can understand that, yeah.
And that is it for our discussion here on the best board breakers that you could try to play post Chaos Origins. Do you have any final thoughts? Do you think that anything here should change in where we place them in the tier?
Let me get a milk look. Let's see.
I'd say it's almost damn near perfect. There's a few things that maybe could be changed. Like you could argue Fenrir Pinkertops goes a little lower. You could argue Nib goes into the mid section. People might want to have Crown Droplet above, but I think at the moment I'm more than comfortable leaving it this way and just stirring up the pot.
Yeah, I probably agree.
All right.
I think this list is fine where it's at.
Awesome. And I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And yeah, that is about it, everyone. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, sharing it, and subscribing. And also, go ahead and give my boy Ton a sub. I'm going to post his channel in the description below. And let me know in the comment sections if you believe what we just yapped about was the worst discussion y'all ever heard, or if y'all agree wholeheartedly. If you agree wholeheartedly, I will make sure that you never lose a match of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever again. And that's about it. Any final words, Ton?
No, well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate having these talks with you, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's always a treat having you here. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later in the next one. Peace and have a wonderful day.
Later, everyone.